Imagine discovering a land so isolated that it remained hidden from the rest of the world for thousands of years. A place where ancient cultures thrived long before the pyramids of Egypt were built, where mysterious landscapes stretched beyond the horizon, and where survival demanded extraordinary courage. Today, we know it as Australia, but its true story is far older and far more fascinating than most people realize. This is the incredible history of Australia.
Welcome back, my friend. Today, we journey to one of Earth's oldest inhabited lands, a continent where human footsteps echoed across the wilderness for more than 60,000 years. Long before European ships appeared on the horizon, Australia was home to extraordinary Aboriginal civilizations that understood the land, the stars, and nature in ways the outside world could barely imagine. Their story is where Australia's history truly begins.
For thousands of generations, Aboriginal Australians lived in perfect harmony with nature. They didn't build massive stone cities or towering castles, yet they created one of the world's oldest continuous cultures. Every river, mountain, and tree carried a story. The stars became their map, the land became their teacher, and survival depended not on conquering nature, but on understanding it. Their knowledge was passed from one generation to the next through stories, songs, and sacred traditions.
Everything changed in the early 17th century, when European explorers began searching for unknown lands beyond the horizon. Vast oceans that had once protected Australia could no longer keep it hidden forever. One by one, foreign ships appeared along its mysterious coastline. None of them realized they were looking at a continent unlike any other, a land filled with strange animals, ancient people, and endless opportunities that would soon change history forever.
In 1770, British navigator Captain James Cook reached Australia's eastern coast during his remarkable voyage across the Pacific Ocean. After exploring the shoreline, he claimed the land for Great Britain and named it New South Wales. At that moment, few could have imagined that this distant continent would soon become one of the most important colonies of the British Empire. Australia's future had changed forever. Instead of becoming a land of wealthy settlers, Australia was chosen for a very different purpose. Britain's prisons had become dangerously overcrowded after the American colonies were lost. The government needed a new destination for thousands of convicted prisoners. In 1788, the first fleet sailed across the world, carrying more than 700 convicts toward an unknown land. Their arrival would mark the beginning of modern Australia.
Life in the new colony was far more difficult than anyone expected. The soil was unfamiliar, the climate unpredictable, and food supplies disappeared faster than they arrived. Many settlers and convicts struggled to survive their first years. Hunger, disease, and isolation became part of everyday life. Yet despite countless hardships, they slowly built farms, roads, and small settlements that would eventually grow into the first Australian towns.
As the colony slowly expanded, relationships between British settlers and Aboriginal communities became increasingly tense. Land that had belonged to Indigenous Australians for thousands of years was taken for farms and new settlements. Misunderstandings soon turned into violent conflicts. These frontier wars left deep scars on both sides and became one of the most painful chapters in Australia's long history, one that is still remembered today. Everything changed again in 1851. Deep beneath the Australian soil, miners discovered something that would transform the colony forever: gold. Within months, news spread across the world. Thousands of hopeful men and women abandoned their homes and sailed toward Australia, dreaming of unimaginable wealth. The quiet colony suddenly exploded with life as ships filled the harbors and gold seekers rushed into the rugged interior. The discovery of gold did more than create fortunes. It transformed Australia forever. Thousands of immigrants arrived from Britain, Europe, America, and especially China, bringing new cultures, skills, and dreams. Small frontier settlements rapidly grew into thriving cities filled with busy markets, grand public buildings, and expanding industries. Within only a few decades, Australia had evolved from a distant penal colony into one of the fastest-growing societies in the world. By the end of the 19th century, Australia's separate colonies had grown stronger than ever. Trade flourished, railways connected distant regions, and a new national identity slowly emerged. Leaders realized that a united nation would be stronger than 6 independent colonies. After years of debate and negotiation, Australians prepared for one of the most important moments in their history: the birth of a new country. On January 1st, 1901, history was made. The 6 separate British colonies officially united to form the Commonwealth of Australia. For the first time, the continent stood together as one nation under a single government. Across cities and small towns, crowds gathered to celebrate as new flags were raised and church bells rang. A dream that had taken decades to achieve had finally become reality. As the 20th century began, Australia faced its greatest test. When World War I erupted in 1914, thousands of young Australians volunteered to fight on distant battlefields they had never seen before. From the beaches of Gallipoli to the trenches of Europe, their courage and sacrifice became part of the nation's identity. Although many never returned home, their legacy united Australians like never before. After the First World War, Australia entered a new era of growth, but peace did not last forever. In 1939, the world was once again consumed by war. Australian soldiers fought across North Africa, Europe, and the Pacific, defending their homeland and supporting their allies. The conflict reshaped the nation's future, strengthened its global influence, and inspired a generation determined to build a stronger Australia. Following the war, Australia welcomed millions of immigrants from Europe and Asia, forever changing the nation's identity. New communities brought fresh ideas, cultures, languages, and traditions that transformed Australia's cities into vibrant, multicultural societies. Roads, bridges, universities, and industries expanded rapidly. Within a few decades, Australia had become one of the world's most prosperous and diverse nations, admired for both its opportunity and quality of life. Today, Australia stands among the world's most developed nations. Its cities rank among the best places to live. Its universities attract students from every continent, and its unique wildlife fascinates millions of visitors each year. Yet beneath the modern skyline lies a history stretching back over 60,000 years, a remarkable journey from ancient Aboriginal civilizations to one of the world's most respected countries. Australia is also a land of extraordinary natural wonders found nowhere else on Earth. Nearly 80% of its wildlife exists nowhere else, from kangaroos and koalas to the incredible Great Barrier Reef. Vast deserts, tropical rainforests, and endless coastlines make the continent one of the most unique places on the planet. Nature has always shaped Australia's identity, just as much as its people have shaped its history. Although Australia has grown into a modern nation, its connection to the world's oldest living culture remains an important part of its identity. Across the country, efforts continue to preserve Aboriginal languages, traditions, music, and sacred sites for future generations. Today, Australia proudly celebrates both its ancient heritage and its multicultural future, proving that a nation's greatest strength comes from remembering where its story truly began. From the first footsteps of Aboriginal Australians over 60,000 years ago to the rise of a modern nation admired across the globe, Australia's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. It is a story of discovery, hardship, resilience, and hope. Every mountain, every desert, and every coastline carries memories of those who shaped this remarkable land. The history of Australia is not only the story of one country, it is a story of human endurance itself. History is not only written in books, it lives in the landscapes, the people, and the stories passed from one generation to the next. Australia's incredible journey reminds us that even the most distant lands can shape the future of the entire world. Thank you for traveling through history with Arthur Vale. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to subscribe to StoryFace, because our next journey into history is only just beginning.